Welcome back to Sportsworks Podcast. I'm your host, The Phenom, and I'm joined by Lil BK and, of course, El Scorcho. Guys, we have a Week 3 matchup for you today. It's going to be the Seattle Seahawks traveling out to Minnesota, and they're going to take on the Vikings. The Vikings are going to be the home underdogs. They're going to catch 1.5 points. This is a game between two teams that disappointed last week. The Vikings went ahead and they hung in there with the Cardinals. Not a lot of people believe that they could. But they did. They hung in there, but ultimately they missed the last-minute field goal. Typical Viking shit. And, of course, you have the Seattle Seahawks playing at home. They were playing against the Titans, and the Titans just came back on their ass, and Derrick Henry ran all over them. This is a game where it could get ugly for Seattle if they don't watch out, because the Vikings do have a great rush. So, that doesn't scare me, though. Because guess what?
What?
Who do they got on their team? Seahawks.
Okay.
Russell freaking America, man. Russell Wilson is going to go ahead and come back. The Seahawks are one of the top teams in the NFL this year. Last week does not change my mind. I believe the Vikings are bottom feeders as they've been in the past few years. I'm going to go ahead and take the Seahawks here. You're only giving up 1.5 points. Is nothing. Seahawks minus 1.5. For me, it's a lock. What do you guys think?
Well, as of right now, 82% of the public money is on Seattle. So everyone's riding Seattle's dick pretty hard. At minus 1.5. I mean, all they need is a field goal to cover that spread. It's very doable, and I can see why. Seattle's got a very good record against Minnesota historically. I think the last 10 matchups between these two ball clubs, Minnesota's only won 2 of them. So it's been a lopsided ass whooping. However, I don't like laying points on the road. I like Seattle, but I'm not confident on that bet. I'm looking at an over and under. 72% of the public is betting the over on this game. I think that number is a little bit high. It's at 55.5. I think it's going to be slightly short. I think they're going to come up short by maybe 2 or 3 points. And with that said, I'm going to take the under. I like Minnesota. I like Minnesota at home. You guys know that's one of the teams that I always chase when they're playing at home, especially when they're catching points. But this year, they're just not the same Minnesota team that's been there in the past. They're lacking something. Their defense is horrendous. Kirk Cousins is not doing it. And there's something going on with Dalvin Cook. He's not looking the same.
Yeah.
So I have no idea. Either way, I'm going to go ahead and take the under. My play for this game is going to be the under. Under 55.5, guys.
I actually like the under on that one, and I like Seattle on minus 1.5. I think it is very doable, but it is tough to tell because they did blow that lead last week, and they should have finished that game. So that does worry me because the Vikings have been putting up points, and they played a great game against the Cardinals last week. So I think 56.5 is just too many points. I think they're not overhyping. I think they're very caught up on the points that Seattle scored 30. Vikings scored 30 last week, so I think they're just like, they've been putting up points the first 2 weeks of their games, and I was like, I'm not sure. So I think I'm going to go with the under 56.5. I think that's the safest bet to go with. I think it'll be a very close game at the end of the day, and I think Seattle will win by a field goal, but it's too risky for me to take
So far we have 2 unders. You're taking
Seattle.
And laying the wood 1.5 on the road.
There you go. There you have it. That's the picks for this week's game. If you guys agree with us, let us know what points we missed. If you don't agree with us, let us know why you don't agree with us. And we'll see you next week when we have more money in our pocket.